the team was changed a little bit. Some of the girls got contracts that have never been professional before. To step into the women's game where it's at now, which is the standards quite high between quite a few clubs now, and to go and compete at that, and they've never competed at that regularly every week, a couple of games a week at that level and that tempo is a big challenge, and you've got to credit really everyone unifying together and from never having that experience before, and hopefully the more experienced players that have come on board have helped with that journey so far, and hopefully we can keep helping and building and pushing as well, not getting comfortable.
And what about your international career? Because you played a lot, didn't you, as well? So how was that?
Yeah, it's always an honour to play for your country, and I fortunately have had the pleasure to do that and play with some of the best players in England. So you can't deny that it's such an amazing experience. And for my debut, I think what sticks out for me is that I know my mum was proud of me that day, and because she's very patriotic about her country, and my family are, and I think all the girls that have represented their country will know that they've done their family proud as well. So it's been a great experience.
So what would you say has been the biggest highlight of your career?
Biggest highlight? It's a hard one. I mean, I'd have to say my most enjoyable year ever in football was my first year at Chelsea winning the double, because I felt like that I'd hit the form of my life, and I was out of the England squad and I earned my place back, and I was just scoring goals. I just felt free. I mentioned I was a free spirit at the beginning of this chat that we've had, and I never ever felt like I was locked in and couldn't express myself, and I just felt everything just pieced together that year, and we had such an amazing team, and to play with the front line that we had with Eni Aluko, Frank Irby and Jisoo at Chelsea, I mean, and then you've got players like Drew Spence, Millie Bright, I mean, every single player in that squad, I connect Claire Rafferty, they were all there, and we were just untouchable. So that experience was just incredible. So I'd have to go that one, but there's been some unbelievable experience in my career, and I'm grateful for every single one of them.
I'm sure TJ's happy with that one as well.
You can take a bit of credit.
Yeah. Moving on to, because you're doing a bit of coaching now as well, aren't you? So what sort of coach are you doing at the moment?
Yeah, so I've actually coached for years. I really enjoy coaching football, and I've been coaching for a long time now and trying to build my experience. So I run my own elite training academy, working with academy players and players that are just short of academy level. I'm sure we've got some unbelievably talented players at Kentish Town, and I just love passing on my journey to the kids and trying to make them the best they can be and mentor them through any issues and pressures that they have in football, and developing them at the same time. But so I'm running my own GD Elite football academy now, and we don't play matches or enter leagues. We just train and we develop together. And I stand for having girls and boys both training at a high level, and creating the normality of that there is no difference. It's an equal playing field, and it doesn't matter how good you are. Girls are just as good as boys are just as good as girls, and you've got to appreciate it on the level. And I'm incredibly proud of running that and working with, I mean, so
very high standard
so
kids.
Talented, and but they work so hard, and they really support me. They come and watch me play. When I was at Liverpool, I had I think a group of about quite a few players with their families came over and made the journey up to come and watch me. And I see every week there's a few of them in the stands every week. It's something that never goes unmissed for me, and adds a little bit of pressure, because if I don't perform, then they bring me back. So
not going to listen to you the next week.
It's something I'm really passionate about. So long may it continue, and it definitely will.
Yeah, I mean, I've just started working in a girls' school for the last 3 years, doing football coaching just in there, and I find a difference between
I think it's a very different dynamic, but I've found now I have the girls and boys. I think the boys do learn to take on information that little bit quicker. But I do find credit to the boys that they do stick at things when they can't do. They seem to stick at it, that little bit more. But I can't be biased towards it because I just think. I mean, they say that men can't multitask. I completely disagree. I completely disagree because. The boys that I have at my sessions, they're more than capable, and the girls the same. And people doubt girls' physicalities and aggression levels, but I haven't seen it because they've, yeah, I just don't think there's any differences. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a girl that plays for me in the under 9s, and she hasn't stood like it back between anything else this season. If anything, she's been one of the best. Last season, she was voted player of the season by the boys. She stood out and be counted this year. So I've got no queries with putting boys and girls together if they're kind of up to a good standard with what we've got at the moment. So yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I think a highlight for me in my coaching academy was when I'd have a session and I'd have, because I do have majority boys, but I've got a lot of girls as well, but I had majority girls and boys in a session one evening, and then one of my academy female players came for the last hour, and that was when our games had started, and walked through the door, and they're all in their teams, and they're all, as soon as the girl walked through the door, they were like, I'll have her on my team, I'll have her on my team. And that's what you want that hunger to be like, oh, do you know what, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, I just want that player because I want them on my team. And there's just no difference at all, and creating that mindset is just, I mean, it doesn't matter, it could be a boy walk through the door and the girl's like, do you know what, we'll have him, we'll definitely have him. And to create that there isn't, that it's just normal is probably one of my biggest game plans at my football academy. So, and I think I've done a decent job so far. So, yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
There's one of my old girls there, Leonie, actually, who was with us, and she's out at Birmingham now, and she's doing really well. So we've had a few come through the door, and they're all getting on. So hopefully we can push them onto academies, which brings me on to my next question. What sort of age do you think that people should be going into academies? Because my opinion's kind of changed a bit. You might be a bit different. Obviously, everyone's a bit different. I seem to think that a lot of kids are being picked up a bit too young at the moment, and going into academies and stuff a bit too young, and losing that kind of enjoyment out of football and grassroots football. And I think they should be playing a lot more grassroots.
Yeah, it's funny because football's just an opinionated environment, and I think I've kind of switched and changed throughout my whole kind of working with youth players for quite a few years now. And I would go from don't rush to, do you know what, it's good to go. Example for me was two of my under 12s had signed for Stevenage this year, but into the under 13s. But if you asked me a year ago, I wouldn't have wanted them to go because I didn't think that they were mentally ready for it. But they've gone in at the right time, and I think they needed that environment to go and excel another level, because I think they were starting to find it too easy, and I think they were aspiring to get to that academy so much. And now they're doing really, really well, and they can handle kind of the expectation a little bit more. But I am a fan of academy football. I'm not sure about age, because I think it depends on the environment you're walking into, because there's some great academy environments now where they aren't putting a lot of pressure on the kids. But grassroots, it enables, I mean, every kid wants to play football. So I don't feel like you can criticise academies, because academies, you don't have a lot of drama on the sidelines, for example, because you have to be quiet and watch your child.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It's a bit more of a controlled environment, which kids don't deal well with being shouted at. Like I wouldn't personally want to be yelled at. Like, even as a pro, I don't particularly want to be yelled at. But at least as an adult, I have the capability to be able to block things out, and I think children find that hard. But at the same time, at grassroots football, you get to go and play tournaments in the summer, and I take my kids to tournaments in the summer if I can, and they get to pick up trophies and things like that. And I think there's a lot of light in both. And I think rather than saying kids can't go in too early, I think it's about picking the right environment for your child. Does your child deal well with pressure? Maybe don't go to a high pressure environment that you know is a high pressure environment. But if your child can handle that and they thrive with that, then go and take your player there. So I think as long as kids enjoy it, every environment's different for different people. So yeah, but do you know what? The whole family, as long as the family feel in football and everyone's making friends and enjoying themselves, is the most important thing.
I think that's a really good point you just made, actually. I mean, obviously, as I just said, football's all about opinions, isn't it? So, as you just said, there is, I think what you just said is spot on in terms of the environment and stuff. And I think, and I think the mental sort of side and stuff as well. So, I totally agree with everything we just said.
Every kid develops different rates. It could be physically and then mentally, or mentally and then physically. But the time will come at the right. One of my best friends, he didn't sign professional until he was 23. And he was playing grassroots, denied from academies, was too small. And he went through like Ryman Prem, and now he's playing in League One football. He signed at 23. I mean, it's never too late. So if anyone ever thinks if you're not in, then it's too late. It's never too late. I know so many players that have come in late. I mean, I didn't get my first England call up till I was at under 19s. Under 19s, whereas most of my teammates were getting picked when they were 14. So there's never a rush, and grassroots football is so great for players. And I grew up with grassroots, and kids love it. And there's some amazing people running grassroots clubs, and people that they don't even get paid for it. So they're doing it for the love of it. And how can you say that's not a great thing? It's a great thing.
Yeah, I think I always say to kind of my 16-year-olds, when they're leaving, they're thinking, "Oh, that's it now. I haven't made it a pro," sort of thing. But a lot of them don't realise there is still a great advantage of playing non-league football, and you can still make a living from playing non-league football and stuff like that, and make your way back up as well. People still do it, don't they?
Yeah, I watched my best friend do it, and it's funny. I spoke with him the other week, and he said that it gave him not going into that environment too early. It gave him a chance to work on what he wouldn't have time to if he was in an environment. So he would spend time just working on his left foot, and that sounds like such a basic practice. But when he said that to me, I used to go and watch him play every week, and he was scoring when he signed pro, and he was scoring goals with left foot. And I think he ended up scoring, and I was thinking, and then he said it to me the other day, and he said, it gave me time to go into a training session, just work on that, and no one telling me this. And it makes me think now, I mean, I could get him on YouTube and look at his best goals, and I reckon about 8 out of 10 of them is left foot, and you wonder why. So it gives people a chance to breathe and go and work on things, and everyone develops. I watched him play since he was 16, and like from a boy to a man, and he went from being a kid that they said was too small to get the ball to him. He's going to start doing something for the team. So there's never a rush, male or female.
So what's the future kind of hold for you? What do you think in the next 10 years? Do you think you'll go into coaching, or do you think you'll have some time out and stuff first? What are you looking to do?
I wouldn't say my direct pathway is clear for me right now. I am building my coaching within what I'm doing right now. I will do my badges, but I really do enjoy making players better on an individual basis, and working with the youth at the moment, because I just always feel if I can help them be like, my target is to make them all move like me on the ball, for example, because I feel like that's my strength. So I want them to be able to be very extremely comfortable in football. So when they start going on to wherever they go, they're going to be the best within that at bare minimum. So I'm very much into kind of the making an individual, giving them an extra 20%, because I think that extra 20%, if you've already got it, is vital. So I'd love to kind of maybe work with a pro and work on something that I see is not quite, that could be, give them an extra 5-10%, which could make all the difference in a game for a performance. So I quite that attracts me a little bit to maybe go and do a role like that, maybe to start with, and then we'll just see. I mean, TJ did a lot of that with me, and I feel like I would quite enjoy that. So TJ, give me some tips.
You seem like you've got quite an attention to detail sort of thing on certain things. So you know, I totally get what you're sort of saying there in terms of how you would teach people and stuff. I totally get that sort of side.
Enjoyable to get that, give someone that extra bit of comfort, or to be there and maybe talk to a player that's going through a rough patch. Do you know what? I've been there too. I was there, and even at Tottenham, I'm a senior player now. So to try and help a player that's younger than me and give them that is so powerful. So and that will add a lot to someone's performance. So to help someone would be great.
Last question: what sort of advice would you give to any of the young up and coming players or anything like that? What sort of advice would you give to boys and girls?
I mean, there's so much, isn't there? You could say, look, make sure you enjoy it or whatever. But I think what stands out for me is if I go back to when I was younger, and is to always embrace people trying to help you. So I had Em Hayes, for example. You take it all in. They're doing it because they care. I've had people that would shout at me, but they said it because they thought that I was going to do something. And I had to take that as they wouldn't, if they go silent, I understand. But if they're trying to talk to me, embrace all of it. Try and take it all in and deliver all of it as much as I can. So embrace what people are trying to say to you, whether it's your parents saying that, listen, you're not working hard enough. Well, do you know what? My parents know me better than anyone, so there must be something there. I'm going to try harder. Or, you've got a coach be like, do you know what? You're not doing your job. Do you know what? You're just trying to help me. So teammates helping you, just embrace everyone that is trying to communicate with you, and that people are just trying to help you. So embrace everything all the time.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for your time. Is there anything else you wanted to add, or anything you wanted to add to the end of it?
No, I want to come down and have a watch of what you guys are doing.
Anytime you want.
Yeah, it'd be great.
We'd thoroughly enjoy it, and I'm sure Kirsty Peeling would like to see you as well.
I'd like to see Kirsty do a little bit of coaching. See if she's still got a weldy right foot on her.
She has. Yeah, she has. Trust me.
Nice. I'd love to come down and see you guys.
Definitely, we'll sort something out. Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. Nice to meet you.
Cheers, Andrew. See you soon. Bye bye.